Hello, my name is Juan and I am a student of English language. Today I will talk you about morphology and the word formation. So the first that we need to know is what is morphology. The definition of morphology says that is the study of word formation including the ways in words are coined in the language of the word and the way forms of the words are varied depending on how they are used in sentences. So basically morphology is the study of how the words are formed. If we want to understand how the words are formed, we need to learn some other important concepts. The first is morpheme. Linguistics define a morpheme as the smallest unit of language that has its own meaning. Simple words like giraffe, wiggle, or yellow are morphemes, but so are prefixes like re and pre, and suffixes like is and er. Here we have some examples of morphemes. First we have one morpheme, after we have two morphemes, after three, four, and more than four. Before to continue, do you know what is a word? A word can be defined as one or more morphemes that can stand alone in a language. Words that consist of only one morpheme can be termed simple or simple words. Words that are made up more than one morpheme are called complex. Here we can see some examples of simple and complex words. Talking about words, do you know how words are counted? It's useful to have some special terms for how we count words. Let's say that if we are counting every instant in which word occurs in a sentence, regardless of whether that word has occurred before or not, we are counting word tokens. If, however, we are counting a word once, no matter how many times it occurs in a sentence, we are counting word types. So words can be token and words types. Example: how many words occur in the following sentence? My friend and I walk to class together because our classes are in the same building and we dislike walking alone. You might have thought of at least two ways of answering this question and maybe more. On the one hand, you may have counted every item individually, in which case your answer would have been 21. On the other hand, you may have thought about whether you should count the two instances of "and" in the sentence as a single word and not as a separate word. You might even have thought about whether to count walk and walking or class and classes as different words. So when you count words, you may count them in a number of ways. Counting this way, we count 20 types in the sentence above, the two tokens of the word, and count as one type. Now, a still different way of counting words would be to count what are called lexemes. Lexemes can be thought as families of words that differ only in their grammatical endings or grammatical forms. Singular and plural forms are known, like class and classes. Present, past, and participle forms or verbs: walk, walks, walked, and walking. Different forms of a pronoun: I, me, my, and mine. Each represent a single lexeme. The base is the semantic core of the word to which the prefix and suffix attach. For example, wave is the base of unwave. Frequently, the base is a free morpheme. So why not call them respectively and prefix and suffix them? One reason is that all these morphemes seem in an intuitive way to have far more substantial meaning than average affix does. Root word versus base word. The root is the base element of the word, the part of the word that contains the basic meaning, the definition of the word. Root cannot stand alone and need two affixes attached to it to make a word. The base is a word that can stand alone. One reason for having morphology is to form new lexemes from old ones. We will refer to this as lexeme formation. For example, the lexeme run can form another lexemes like run, runs, and running. This is the lexeme formation. Now back into the morphemes, let's see the types of morphemes. First we have free and bound morphemes. Some morphemes like boy, desire, gentle, and man may constitute words by themselves. These are free morphemes. Other morphemes like ish, nest, like, pray, trans, and on are never words by themselves, but are always parts of words. These affixes are bound morphemes and they may attach at the beginning, the end, in the middle, or both at the beginning and end of a word. Now we can see some examples of morphemes. First, we have free morphemes. In the middle, we have words with bound morphemes. And at the end, we have only the bound morphemes. After that, we have root, derivational, and inflectional. Besides being bound or free, morphemes can also be classified as root, derivational, or inflectional. A root morpheme is the basic form to which other morphemes are attached. It provides the basic meaning of the word. Example, the morpheme sow is the root of sours. Derivational morphemes are added to forms to create separate words. For example, is the derivational suffix whose addition turns a verb into a noun, usually meaning the person of the thing that performs the action denoted by the verb. Another example is paint plus creates painter, one of whose meanings is someone who paints. Inflectional morphemes do not create separate words, they merely modify the word in which they occur in order to indicate grammatical properties such as a plurality, as the s of magazines, or past tense as the ed of close does. English has 8 inflectional morphemes. We can regard the root of a word as a morpheme left over when all derivational and inflectional morphemes have been removed. For example, in immobility, im, abil, and iti are all derivational morphemes, and when we remove them, we are left with move, which cannot be further divided into meaningful pieces, and so must be the word's root. Remember, inflection creating various forms of the same word, derivation creating new words. Now we will learn some process for derivation. First, we have affixation. Words are formed by adding affixes. For example, a verb plus an affix er is equal a noun, singer. On plus an adjective is equal an adjective, unproductive. The second is compounding. Words are formed by combining two or more words. For example, an adjective plus an adjective is equal an adjective, bittersweet. A noun plus noun is equal a noun, rainbow. The third is acronyms, like abbreviations but adds as a normal word. We have laser, like amplification by simulated emission of radiation. Radar, radio detecting and ranging. The fourth is blending, part of two different words are combined. For example, breakfast plus lunch is equal brunch. Motor plus hotel is equal motel. Finally, we have clipping. Longer words are shortened. Doctor is doc, professional is prof, laboratory is lab, and automobile is auto. So there are 5 different processes of derivation. We have affixation, compounding, acronyms, blending, and clipping. Another kind of morphemes are the affix, but what is an affix? It's a morpheme that is not a root and is always bound. Affixes are classified according to whether they are attached before or after the form to which they are added. Prefixes are attached before and suffixes after. There are 5 different types of affixes. The first are the personal affixes. These are affixes that create people nouns, either from verbs or from nouns. For example, the suffix "er", which forms adjective nouns like reader or runner. The second are negative and privative affixes. Negative affixes add the meaning not to their base. Examples in English are the prefix on, in, and non. Unhappy, inattentive, and non-functional. Privative affixes mean something like without x. In English, the suffix less. Scoleless, hopeless in privative suffix. The third are prepositional and relational affixes. Prepositional and relational affixes often cover notions of space or time. Examples in English may be prefixes like over and out, overfill, outrun, outhouse, overcoat. The fourth are quantitative affixes. These are affixes that have something to do with amount. In English, we have affixes like full, handful, and helpful. Finally, we have evaluative affixes. Evaluative affixes consist of diminutives, affixes that signal a smaller version of the base. For example, in English, lead, as in booklet or droplet. Argumentatives, affixes that signal a bigger version of the base. The closest we come to argumentative affixes in English are prefixes like mega, megastore, megabyte. I hope that now you understand better the word formation.